You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live at 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR. KSMR Real College Radio. We're back for week 2 here on The Squeeze. It is September 30th, and boy, does it feel chilly here in Winona, Minnesota.
Yeah, a little chilly. Thinking about golfing 18 holes today, but it's 45 degrees, so it's not too hot here.
I don't know about that one. Golfing 18 holes to me doesn't sound very pleasant at any time, but especially not in 45-degree weather. That is for sure. Are you a big golfer?
A little bit. I know my golf quite a bit, but it's more like Sunday football weather, I'd say.
Yeah. What's the handicap for Mr. Alec Rude?
Like 15, 20 is not good.
Okay, I mean, I asked what a handicap is, but I don't even know.
I don't really get it either.
Okay, perfect.
It's something like over par or something, how much you bogey or something.
Okay,
I don't birdie much.
I just want to make it clear that to the audience, I'm breaking the fourth wall here. My family is right in front of me. I can see them, and it's pretty cool. They're here for family weekend. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the show. So let's just open up with the 16-second squeeze. For those of you who are listening who didn't listen last week, the 16-second squeeze is the way that you win a Squeeze t-shirt here on KSMR Radio. Neither of us are wearing our t-shirts today, but we wore them last week. Oh, never mind. Alec Rude coming in clutch. He's wearing the t-shirt. They do look pretty cool, and who doesn't love free stuff? But the way you do win one is I will ask you to call the contest line, not the radio station line, but the contest line going in to a couple breaks. You're going to call. We're going to have a little off-air conversation. I'm going to let you know how it goes. And I'm going to ask you, the contestant, to pick your competitor. You're going to pick between 3 competitors. And when you pick them, I will then say you have 16 seconds to name as many whatevers as you can. You will then have, let's say, 10. I will then play the competitor's sound recording of the exact same question, and whatever your margin of victory is compared to your competitor, you will win the t-shirt if you have the highest margin of victory between the 3 contestants. It's a little confusing. I'm not explaining it super well, but it's a fun way to win a t-shirt, and we're learning how to do it a little bit better this week. The sound quality on the sound recording should be a little bit nicer. Last week we had 2 in-studio guests. This week we don't have any. We do have a sound recording from the junior on the soccer team, Josh Balsiger. They actually have a game today, so they're on the road. Currently, they have a game at 4 o'clock at UW Superior. But Josh Balsiger, you'll hear it later on in the show, he did it again for another final hour tying goal. I wasn't at this one. Were you there? Or no, it was at that one. So, yeah. Our play-by-play. Oh, you did? Okay.
When Robbie's overtime goal, his header was very sick.
And then
we're going crazy.
Charlie Rett had the penalty kick, or not the penalty kick, the free kick that put him on the board just to start the scoring. But Bethel actually came to a 2-0 lead super early in that game for 5 minutes.
Cardinals didn't win that one. I don't see them having a shot at the play. Bethel's the worst team in the conference by far, I think.
So another maybe example of them walking into a game playing down to their competition. We'll hear from Josh Balsiger later on the show around 10:25, 10:30. What else we got today? We got the 16-second squeezes. I'm going to let you know how intramural reffing has been going so far this year. It's been a little bit rougher than last year, but I'm excited to talk about that. We're going to hear from Claire and Teresa yet again, the football experts resident here on the Squeeze. I'll let you know how they did last weekend, and we will play their picks from this weekend as well for those NFL games. We're going to talk about Addison Russell. It's going to be tough, and I'm not sure many of you are going to want to hear me talk about Addison Russell. I really wanted to talk about it last week, and we just ran out of time. So I'm making a point right now to say we're going to talk about it so that we have to talk about it later in the show.
And we got to add, I had 2 NFL bold predictions that we didn't get to last week, and they were both correct.
And what were those NFL bold predictions that now really don't matter?
They weren't really too bold, but I said Josh Allen would become the starting quarterback.
Okay, and he did.
He is going to be. And then I also said the Redskins were going to beat the Packers by double digits. And
wow.
That was
happened.
Correct. I said Smith was going to throw 4 touchdowns, but he threw 2.
Okay, not bad. Close. I mean, the Bears are on top of the NFC North.
That's magic.
No, I mean, come on. Fitzmagic's going to wear off. It wore off for the first half in that game, but then he throw for 4 touchdowns again at 400 yards.
In Chicago today?
It is. I probably should know that, but I don't. I don't. Maybe you can look it up. I don't think it really matters.
It is.
It is in Chicago. Okay, so that defense in Chicago, I wouldn't be surprised if they do not listen, or if they don't lose a game at home this season with that defense. It's just too remarkable.
It's kind of a quiet week this week. There's some big games this week.
Yeah. I mean, it kicked off with the lid opener over there on Thursday night, the Rams and Vikings. That was quite the barn burner.
No comment.
Yeah, well, you are going to have to comment a little bit later in the show. I mean, the Vikings, what happened, man? They're NFC champions not NFC champions, NFC North champions to 3rd place in the division.
Rams and Chiefs, you were talking about earlier. They might be the top 2 teams in the NFL.
Rams probably are the best. I mean, they're the best team in the NFC for sure, down, other than the Bears. So, okay, well, this Thursday, we're in the same news writing class where we're both future journalists sitting right in front of you, hopefully. But we didn't have class this Thursday because we're working on our first stories. What's your story about?
The parking lot outside of my residence hall and how campus safety said they don't overbook it. But for me, I get back from tennis at 10:30 at night and all the lots are full, so we got to park on the other side of campus and walk in the rain. So I was like, I'm going to figure that out.
Okay, well, there we go. We actually have a little, coincidence because I'm writing about the snow removal policy for the parking lots in here. So really riveting stuff between us two budding journalists. But we didn't have class this Thursday because we had to work on those stories.
And next Thursday.
Next Thursday. We don't have class either. We don't have class on Friday either. But I decided, I only had one class in the morning, and I decided I want Chipotle. So I plug it into my phone. Where's the closest Chipotle? Oh, 43 minutes up the road or over west to Rochester. Like, 43 minutes, that's an hour and a half, but I want Chipotle. So I went all the way down there by myself, listening to my podcasts, and I loved it. I mean, it was super easy drive up 14. 14 is one of the prettiest roads in America. It has to be just west of St. Mary's campus. Absolutely gorgeous. And I drove all the way to Rochester, not a hiccup. I get my Chipotle. The portions are huge in Minnesota. Didn't know that.
They load you up.
In Chicago,
I had Chipotle Saturday, and oh man, they loaded me up.
I mean, in Chicago, it's half a scoop for each ingredient. It's ridiculous. But here, they almost went for double every time. I got 2 3-point burritos for $12. I was like, yeah, I feel like I'm home. And then to feel even more like I was at home, I Googled, I bet you there's a Dunkin' Donuts in Rochester. I know.
Rochester has everything.
I mean, I guess so. They got a Dunkin' Donuts. So I plugged that into my phone. It was 5 minutes away. Got an extra large hot coffee for the ride home, and I was loving my decision at Thursday. But it's dangerous now because I might do it a little bit too often and spend way too much money on Chipotle, Dunkin' Donuts, and gas.
Yeah, no. Winona, no Chipotle.
No,
we gotta invest.
I don't get it. We need to open a Chipotle. Are you kidding me? It would be popping in there. We got 2 universities in this town. I can't believe there isn't a Chipotle.
It calms the soul. Chipotle.
It does.
It just calms you down.
It's too good. It's too good. That's the thing. It's too good because I'm gonna eat it way too much. So after Thursday, this weekend is family weekend, and you couldn't spend time with your family this weekend because you were at tennis.
My father did come down for the tournament. Okay. He came down both days, but. Yeah, our tennis team was in Gustavus. Got there Thursday night. I was kind of telling you this earlier. Our coach had soccer practice, so we got there around 11 o'clock Thursday night. Hotel took 2 hours to check us in. We just sat in the lobby because of how understaffed they were. So went to bed at 1 a.m., woke up at 6, played some tennis Friday, Saturday, got absolutely killed. Then I got back last night.
Well, that's great. But my family did make the way north all the way from Chicago. It's a 4.5-hour drive. They got here Friday night at around 10 o'clock. Spent an hour with them in their hotel room, just talking about what's been going on lately. And I really do miss them a lot when they're not here. And we've only been here for a month, and I felt like it's been a year. So it was great to see them. We got to go to a bunch of restaurants this weekend in Winona. A lot of first timers. The Boathouse. Right. That was pretty good. The food was great. Went to, where else did we go? I'm blanking right now, but we did. We went to Blooming Grounds. Have you ever been to Blooming Grounds, the coffee house?
Heard of it.
Yeah, I actually had a sandwich there last week for the first time, and I was like, guys, we need to try this out because it's pretty good. Those paninis and wraps over there are quite nice at Blooming Grounds on 2nd Street. Not an ad. Don't worry. I'm just saying I like the food.
Hey, fall break's coming up, though, so you get to go home.
I do get to go home. I'm very excited about going home. That's for sure. I do miss Chicago a ton.
Not many colleges have fall breaks. Like I was talking to Noma State. Like
really,
I think we're one of the only ones that have like a true fall break.
It's
pretty
shocking. So I mean, just for midterms, they go to midterms and then they go right back into school.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, one of the perks of being a St. Mary's University Cardinal, I guess.
Amen.
And now my family, like I said, is sitting out there. My sister's wearing her Squeeze t-shirt, representing, and they can hear me. She is actually going to be one of the competitors in the 16-second squeeze. She will be sitting right here with us live for that one. I know she's excited. She's a 7th grader, and she's awesome. Okay, so did you hear what Brandy Blattner just accomplished a couple nights ago?
The All-American American.
The All-American American, All-American in 2 sports. She just tallied her 1,000th kill as a St. Mary's University Cardinal. I saw all the posts from Donnie Nadeau on his Instagram. He is our sports information director here at St. Mary's. It's some amazing stuff, and it led me to look up some more statistics about Brandy Blattner. So let's get into it right here. Brandy Blattner is a senior from Eyota, Minnesota, 34 minutes from Winona. Have you ever been to Eyota?
I've heard of it. It's a very small town, though.
Okay, very small town.
It's pretty remarkable how, like, their sports, you never really hear them at all. So it's pretty remarkable.
She's a stud athlete, for sure. 2-time academic All-MIAC, 1-time All-MIAC, 1-time All-Region, and 1-time All-American. That's just for volleyball. She's done just as much in basketball as well. She holds 2 single-game SMU records with 31 kills in 1 game against Bethel in 2016. 2016, you're going to hear that a lot in these statistics because that was her All-American year, and it is one of the most remarkable seasons in the history of St. Mary's sports. 81 attacks against Nebraska Wesleyan in 2016 is a single-game SMU record as well. She ranks 4th all-time in career kills per set with 3.52 kills per set. I mean, that's almost a 5th of the points scored in a volleyball match or in a volleyball.
Well, you're just talking about like her hometown. Like I'm just wondering, like by these numbers, if she went maybe to a bigger city, I bet she would have got maybe some like D1 looks or something.
I'm
because
sure.
Going to a smaller town,
especially
in Minnesota, there's a lot of small towns. So
hard to find. Hard to find.
And the Minnesota volleyball team is very good.
Okay, I mean, she is a women amongst girls for sure. Her 2016 season ranks 1st all-time in St. Mary's history in kills per set with 4.54 kills. She was dominant that season, and it's honestly insane. It was arguably the best offensive season in SMU volleyball history. She just hit 1,000 career kills, ranking her 11th in school history, with a high chance that by the end of this senior season, she could get up to about 7th if she just goes along with her career averages. She could be the 7th all-time highest kills leader in St. Mary's volleyball history. Congrats to Brandy on an awesome career, and hopefully she can continue it for the remainder of this senior season.
Coming up to her basketball, she's got her 1,000th point last year, and she still has 1 more year. So I think basketball, like volleyball, if you hear these numbers with basketball, she might even be looked at as a better basketball player than volleyball.
Okay, I mean,
just from
that, I'm excited to.
When I broadcast the games, that basketball team is gonna be good this year.
I'm excited. Yeah. They only lost 1 senior last year.
She was very important.
She was very good. Oh, for sure.
Alexa Huseman.
She was
3-point shooter.
She was very good, but only losing 1 senior and keeping the rest of the team. Any team is gonna.
And they made the playoffs last year, so you can only pretty much.
It's this. I keep saying it, and you're gonna hear it a lot. St. Mary's sports is getting really exciting. Where every team is young and every team has an upside.
New coaches, a lot of new coaches.
New coaches, basketball. New athletic director. We have a new president at the school. Stick with me, folks, because St. Mary's sports, we are coming, and we are going to broadcast it all and let you guys know the story of each team. But Alec, we talked about earlier, I don't really like golf. I don't pay attention to golf, but Tiger did win a tournament last week.
Well, talking about Tiger, the Ryder Cup was this weekend. Like you said, he did win earlier, but it just happened like 5 minutes ago. The Ryder Cup is like USA, they play Europe. it's kind of too bad because if you're not in USA or Europe, you don't get to participate. But I went to the Ryder Cup. I think it was 4 or 6 years ago. It was in Minnesota actually, and it was very, very cool. And it's basically they play all sorts of kind of matches, and USA plays Europe. USA hopefully comes out on top. They're mostly favored because golf's very popular in the USA, but Europe just got the victory actually 5 minutes ago. But like you said, Tiger Woods, he went 0-4 this week for the stuff that he was in for the matches. And like,
was he healthy though?
He was healthy.
So that's really all that matters to me.
But like I was talking about with my tennis buddies yesterday, like Tiger, I feel like this week you had match play it's called, so it's 2-on-2, and you like do alternate shot with your partner. And we were talking about like if you're a Tiger Woods partner, you're probably like feeling like you're like playing with Tiger would be really cool, but I feel like it'd be very, I guess, just scary because of the crowd. Yeah, intimidated.
Yeah.
Just how much he is. So that's what we were kind of talking about. Like,
I mean, did you see the crowd following Tiger last weekend? I mean, it's just
huge.
He is the biggest thing for golf. You can't dispute it. He's one of the greatest athletes of all time. And him winning a tournament, not a major, but a major tournament, like a big tournament, the fact that he could do that and make the comeback from multiple spinal fusion surgeries. That's back surgeries. He's a golfer. There's nothing worse for a golfer or a baseball player than to have back surgeries, and he's had 3 or 4 of them.
And his family, like those issues he had with the family, that was like, obviously shame on him, but he has a tough time. Also, though, remember our predictions? I remember last year I said Tiger Woods would not get a top 10 finish.
Yeah,
getting a major.
And I said he would win a major. So we're my prediction.
I think he got top 10 already. So
yeah, I think so.
I'm done. But no, Europe just won. It was fun to watch. I think if you're a golf fan, I think this is very good. And it's every 2 years, but next time it's in Wisconsin actually.
Okay.
At Whistling Straits. So my dad and I might go watch that. But no, if you're a golf fan, it was very exciting, and it was a good golf season, I guess. Tiger came up top. A bunch of Americans did really good, so it was a good golf season, I think.
Yeah. So Europe wins the Ryder Cup, and Tiger didn't look as good this week.
But winning last week
is huge. It's huge for golf, and it's huge for Tiger. So let's take our first 16-second squeeze caller. We are actually going to use the station phone for now, 507-457-1615. Just let me know if you would like to be on the 16-second squeeze, 507-457-1615. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquesi, produced by Alec Rood on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR, KSMR Real College Radio. We're going to send it to break here and then open up with a 16-second squeeze. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquesi, produced by Alec Rude on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR, KSMR Real College Radio. We do have a caller for the 16-second squeeze. It is Christina from Chicago. And this, folks, on the YouTube live stream, who can see her right now, is my 12-year-old sister, Taya Pasquesi. Say hi, Taya.
Hello.
She is a loyal listener of The Squeeze and multi-time caller, and she's going to be a competitor here on the 16-second squeeze. And so here we go. This is Christina from Chicago. Say hi, Christina.
Hi.
Okay, well, you are on the 16-second squeeze. Normally, you have a choice between the three competitors that I have recordings of, but because we have such a special guest here in studio today, your competitor is Taya. Taya had 16 seconds to name as many Chicago Cubs, current Chicago Cubs, as she can. Ready in 3, 2, 1, go.
Bryant, Rizzo, Wilson Contreras, Addison Russell, kind of. I know this. Kyle Schwarber.
Okay, well, we will give you the buzzer beater.
Five.
Kyle Schwarber, that's 5 Chicago Cubs. Thank you so much for Christina for calling for the 16-second squeeze. We will call you back at the end of the show if you want a T-shirt.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay, Taya, you have 16 seconds to name as many Chicago Cubs as you can. Ready, set, go.
Anthony Rizzo, Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, Cole Hamels, Wilson Contreras, Victor Caratini, Kyle Schwarber, Daniel Murphy, Ian Happ, Albert Almora Jr., Kyle Hendricks, John Lester.
And that's it. I got 12. So Christina had 5.
She got killed.
Christina did not fare well against the resident Cub fan here, Taya Pasquesi. Thanks so much, Taya, for competing. You're +7. I think we need to have you compete sometimes to win some more T-shirts there, because you're quite astute at the 16 seconds.
She should drive down here every single weekend.
She should. I don't even have to interview other people. We just have her because she seems to be an expert. Thank you so much, Taya, for participating. And Christina, you are a -7. That's math, right? -7.
That's 7.
Still has a chance to win, though. Remember, Niels from lacrosse last weekend won with a -1. So, we depending on the ability of the next two callers, Christina can still win a T-shirt. Well, thank you, Taya. I'll see you later. Go skedaddle on out of the studio and keep on listening to The Squeeze on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR, KSMR Real College Radio. That was impressive. She got 12 Cubs with first and last names. I don't even think I could.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. I wonder what you do.
It's not that. that was pretty impressive for the 12-year-old Taya Pasquesi out of Chicago, Illinois, Elmwood Park, Illinois, to be exact. But so, okay, game recaps from this week. Sadly, most of them were out of town, and the one in town, I had my family here, so we didn't stay for the entire thing. So I'm going to go back to what we did last year, and that is just read the Donnie Nadeau sports wraps from each game. He does great work in the sports information department. He's been here years, and he's also a graduate of St. Mary's University,
One
Minnesota.
of the hardest working guys I know. I do play-by-play. I meet with him quite a bit, and that guy, I'd never see him on his phone or anything. That guy just works and works.
St. Mary's Sports.
So much, yeah.
That's it. Just St. Mary's Sports. So here we go. Arden Hills, Minnesota. After playing back-to-back overtime games against Loris and Augsburg last week, it only seemed fitting that the St. Mary's University of Minnesota men's soccer team's MIAC showdown against Bethel would require more than 90 minutes to determine a winner. Fortunately for Coach Corbin Bowers, Tuesday's end result proved to be much more favorable than the previous two. The Cardinals, trailing 2-0 early in the first half, rattled off 3 consecutive unanswered goals, including the game winner by Robbie Sobczak, who was featured on the Squeeze last weekend, with 1:22 remaining in the first extra period, leading St. Mary's to a 3-2 victory. The Cardinals did not make collecting conference win number 1 easy. Remember, they might have to win out in the MIAC to make the playoffs, falling behind 2-0 before the game was even 5 minutes old. Andrew Zwart, a Bethel forward, scored the game's first goal just 31 seconds into the first half, and Heckman pushed Bethel's lead to 2-0 in the 4th minute. The Royals clung to that 2-goal advantage over the final 40 minutes of the opening half as Bethel University took that 2-0 lead into the break. And what a break it proved to be. Well rested, the Cardinals offense turned up the heat as Charlie Rett scored on a penalty kick in the 75th minute to cut the Bethel lead 2-1. 7 minutes later, St. Mary's struck again, getting an unassisted goal from Josh Balsiger, who we'll hear from later in the show, to knot the game at 2-2 and send it to overtime. 7 minutes later, St. Mary's struck again, and set up Sobczak's heroics as the junior headed a Rett corner kick past Bethel goalkeeper Colin Hubert for the 3-2 victory in overtime. Albert Centeno picked up the win in goal for the Cardinals, stopping 5 of the 7 shots he faced, while Hubert finished with 6 saves in goal for the Royals. The Cardinals, now 1-3 in the MIAC and 4-5 overall, hit the road today, traveling to Superior, Wisconsin for a 4 p.m. non-conference game against UW Superior. What a win for those boys. They needed it.
Yeah, with Robbie being on my tennis team, a bunch of us were watching the live stream and doing some homework when that game was on, and I'm telling you what, those guys just erupted because they've been playing so hard. They just haven't gotten things to fall. But coming back and getting that victory over Bethel is absolutely huge for them, especially in the conference.
For sure. It's the first conference win and hopefully the first conference win of many. This was kind of the turning point that we wanted the Augsburg game to be, but it proved to be here at Bethel. They should have won by more. They shouldn't have gone to overtime, but hey, a win's a win's a win.
And today they have a very tough task. Superior made the NCAA tournament last year. Lost to St. Thomas 4-3 in the first round, but they're 8-1 Superiors, and they beat Bethel 3-0, beat Augsburg. So it should be a tough task on the road for them.
But hey, you know what? Hopefully,
you never know.
Exactly, you never know. And they're coming off a win. They're coming off an overtime win, and they're coming off of 3 great losses. So it's an.
Mateo Means too. I heard.
Let's talk about that. So Mateo Means, he's in a couple of our classes. So I'm not speculating, but he did tell me that he tore his meniscus.
Yeah, not good.
So he will be out for this season for sure. And we will see how he does for next year. But that's a big blow. He's a sophomore. He's an anchor of the midfield. He plays almost all 90 minutes every game, and that's a big blow to the Cardinals. But next man up, and I'm sure they'll be okay.
They should look to rebound today.
So Winona, Minnesota. This just took place yesterday here at the Big O, Okremovich Field. Gabrielle Peterson was one busy goalkeeper for the St. Mary's University of Minnesota women's soccer team Saturday afternoon. The Cardinal Junior equaled her career high, stopping 11 St. Kate's shots in the team's MIAC conference game at Okremovich Field. I'm pronouncing it right? Okremovich?
I heard it's like Ackermans.
Okay, whatever.
People say different names all the time.
That's why I call it.
That name is a weird word.
That's why I call it the Big O. Unfortunately, despite Peterson's efforts and a pair of second-half goals, the Cardinals came up short as the Wildcats scored 59 seconds into the second overtime to deal St. Mary's a heartbreaking 3-2 loss. The Wildcats broke a scoreless deadlock midway through the first half as Lauren Witt beat Peterson for her team-leading 6th goal of the season and a 1-0 St. Catherine advantage. St. Catherine would maintain that 1-goal advantage through the remainder of the opening half, thanks in large part to the play of Peterson, who finished with 7 saves through the first half. With Peterson doing her job to keep it a 1-goal game, the Cardinals' offense finally came to life early in the second half as Maura Mishner broke free of the SCU defense and delivered her team-leading 6th goal of the season game 6 minutes to pull the Cardinals even 1-1. And it was a great goal. She made opportunity of a turnover and just broke away. The goalie came right up on her and she just scooted it right over her head.
Yeah, I didn't see much of the game as with the tennis, but Mara, I feel like she's used her speed really well. With Cassie being there too, I feel like they kind of like even each other out. Cassie's more of like the power and
passer.
Once Mara gets there, she has speed. So that's
for sure.
Cool.
She was a former track athlete here at St. Mary's.
I didn't know.
Yeah, she was last year. St. Catherine regained the upper hand 6 minutes after Mishner's tally, getting a corner kick goal. Oh gosh, it was a bummer off the foot of Irina Tukulkova for a 2-1 lead. She's not a Cardinal, so I don't know her name. And it bounced off the back of a Cardinal into the goal. It was a bummer, especially after that game time goal from Michener. The crowd kind of got silenced. For the second time in the second half, the Cardinals had an answer. This one coming off the foot of Maddie Walrath, who was moved back to forward for this game for the second half, who took a feed from Quinn McGranigan and beat SCU goalkeeper Taylor Coop to knot the game at 2-2. Maddie Walrath last year, at the beginning for almost the entire season, for almost her whole soccer career, has been a forward. But at the end of the season last year, they moved her to defense, and she thrived, and she's been very good on defense this year, but they needed some attacking ability, and that's what Maddie Walrath is good at. The second he moved her to the offensive side of the ball, she scores a game-tying goal for the Cardinals.
Yeah, Coach Hallberg, my tennis coach, he's the assistant coach actually for the women's team, and like you probably see, Walrath is so good defensively. Like she plays hockey, she's a really good defenseman there, but the men's and women's team both have struggled scoring in the past. So you got to get her on there, and that's great for her to get already on the board. So hopefully we'll see coaches what they want to do. But Kendall Archery, but she's so solid back there, so I don't see why
that being a problem.
Have to stay back there. So that's a good decision by the coach.
After a scoreless first overtime period, the Wildcats' Witt netted her second of the game, 59 seconds into overtime to lift SCU to the win. The Cardinals, who are now 0-4 in the MIAC and 5-5 overall, are back in MIAC action on Wednesday, returning home to the Big O for a 7:30 matchup against St. Thomas. So it would have been very nice to get that first MIAC win.
And then St. Ben's, who's we haven't beaten in years.
It's gonna be a tough week, but you know what? You never know with soccer. You never know. One kick could go one way, and then it's a big upset. So, okay, the volleyball team. This was St. Joseph, Minnesota. Getting off to an early lead wasn't the problem for St. Mary's University volleyball team Friday evening. Keeping that lead was. The Cardinals jumped out to an early lead in all 3 sets of their MIAC match against the vaunted St. Benedict team. Keeping that lead, however, proved to be an impossible task. St. Benedict rallied from those early deficits in all 3 sets as the Bennies handed the Cardinals a 3-0, 25-19, 25-13, 25-23 setback at Claire Lynch Hall. This volleyball team is not performing how we thought they were going to perform.
No, they're struggling a lot.
They are now 1-2 in the MIAC and 8-8 overall. Their next game is against Stout. We'll talk about that a little bit later.
1-3 in the MIAC. They just lost yesterday as well.
Oh, they did just lose. They lost to Concordia. Yeah. So not performing to up to par, especially with an All-American on the team. But you never know. Season could turn around. They've only had 4 MIAC games. They have 5 or 6 left. So
I think they played most of the top teams too.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You never know.
You never know. They could sneak into the playoffs. Well, we talked about soccer a little bit earlier. Let's move to the conversation I had with Josh Ball-Sigger here on The Squeeze.
Thank you for having me, Anthony.
Okay, so let's get right into it. You are from Camas, Washington. So people listening probably haven't heard that hometown about Camas, Washington.
It's a little small town right on the border of Washington and Oregon. I was actually born in Portland, Oregon. People know a little bit more about Portland. But I grew up in Camas, Washington. It's a little small town. The high school mascot there is the Papermakers.
Papermakers?
Papermakers.
Is that a big industry in Camas?
We have a big giant mill.
Okay, that makes sense. Makes some sense. You're a long way from Washington here in Minnesota. How did you end up at St. Mary's?
So I got recruited for the soccer team and came out here for a visit. Loved the community, loved the atmosphere here, and it really just fell in love with the place. It's a beautiful campus, and so why not come out here?
Yeah, Minnesota, nice and cold. How's the climate in Camas?
It's pretty rainy and overcast most of the time, but we don't get the storms like you guys. And we don't get nearly as bad a winter.
Okay.
So we get 1 week during the winter where it's like kind of a little snowy, and then that's about it.
Yeah. So you came to St. Mary's. You were recruited for the soccer team. You love it here. Is the decision that you made to come all the way to Minnesota, like how has it turned out for you?
Absolutely. It's an amazing experience. I met a family here within the soccer team. Robbie Sobzak, my roommate, is just a brother to me. I've met some amazing people out here, and I wouldn't change anything for the world.
Okay, so now let's get into the soccer or side of things. The season has gotten off to a rough start, multiple close games
put together for our program, and we're bringing together, and we're going to be doing some big things.
In your first 2 seasons, you combined for 4 goals, and already through 9 games, you've matched that career goal total with 4. What have you done differently this season that has led to the extra production?
I think a big for me is just getting my shots off. I led the team in assists last year with 5, which was a big point of my season. I wanted to be giving out the goal rather than taking them, and this year has been more of being on the end of them, and with that comes a lot more the little recognition. So it feels good to be scoring goals and to be with the team and doing some great things.
So what can we expect from you personally for the remainder of the season?
Well, hopefully you'll see me out there wearing number 10, working my butt off and scoring some more goals. That's the idea.
Okay, and now let's hear about the team. What can we expect from the team for the remainder of the season? It's going to be tough to make it into the MIAC playoffs this year because you've backed yourselves into a bit of a corner. You may have to win out. What's the likelihood of that?
I think what you're going to be seeing from the team is a lot of heart and a lot of passion. I think this last Bethel game was a turning point, and we have a lot of momentum going into our next MIAC games. We've got a little bit of a MIAC break right now, and so the big thing is keeping that momentum and seeing if we can bring those into MIAC games and get some points.
Okay, so the Cardinals are back in action tomorrow. So during the show, just after the show at 4 o'clock against UW Superior, what can we expect to see from UW Superior?
Well, they normally run a 4-4-2 with a diamond in the midfield. And so that's going to be countered well with 4-2-3, 4-1-3-2 from us. And so hopefully we can exploit their outside backs because they tend to get up. So hopefully both me on the right and Charlie on the left can find some space on the outside and work our way in. I think it's going to be a good game. We beat them last year 3-2 with a goal with about 11 seconds left on the clock, and so it's going to be a very hard-fought match. They're a physical team, and playing them up there at their place is going to be tough.
Okay, so from Washington, I'm guessing you're a Seahawks fan, right?
Not exactly. I wasn't big into football before I came out here, and when I saw how much of a culture it is here, I really loved it. Both my roommates are big Vikings fans, so I'll credit them for converting me.
They converted you over to the big purple people eater, right? Well, I'm a Bears fan, so I'm pretty happy with the season so far this year. Yeah, I mean, took down the Seahawks and in first place in the North, so it's feeling good right now. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Josh, for sitting in here on the Squeeze, and good luck tomorrow against UW Superior.
Thank you so much, Anthony. Thanks for having me on.
That was Josh Balsiger on the St. Mary's University soccer team. Some great stuff there from Josh. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquesi, produced by Alec Rude on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR. KSMR Real College Radio. We're going to take another 16-second squeeze for this break. 507-457-1615. Call in to the phone number 507-457-1615 if you want to be a contestant on the 16-second squeeze. We've already had Christina from Chicago go -7. So the chances of winning a t-shirt are looking pretty good right now. 507-457-1615 if you want to be on the 16-second squeeze. One more time, 507-457-1615. We're going to take it to break here, and we'll be back with a 16-second squeeze. You are listening to this Squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR, KSMR Real College Radio. We do have a call for the 16-second Squeeze. Colin, you're on air. This is Colin from College Grove. Say hi to the people.
How's it going?
It's going good. I'm happy that you are here competing on the 16-second Squeeze today. Who would you like to pick? You have a choice between Claire or Teresa today on the 16-second Squeeze.
I'll compete against Claire.
Okay, Claire. Claire had 16 seconds to name as many state capitals as she could in 16 seconds. As many state capitals as you can in 16 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go.
Bismarck, St. Paul, Madison, Des Moines, Sacramento, Pierre, New York, Boston.
Okay, thank you so much, Colin. How many we got, producer?
7. We have 7.
Did you count New York in that?
Yeah.
Because Albany is the capital of New York.
Oh, you're
I didn't even think about it.
Okay, thanks for calling, Colin.
Yeah.
That's funny. So how many did he get right?
6.
You got 6 right.
I
Okay,
can't believe
well,
I thought that.
okay. Thank you so much for calling, Colin.
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear from Claire for the state capitals.
Madison, Topeka, Bismarck, Pierre, Denver, Sacramento, Helena or Helen, I can't remember what it's called. Santa Fe, Austin.
Okay, so that is 19. No, not 19. Oh gosh, not 19 at all. 9. Claire had 9 state capitals. So Colin had 6. 3. Claire had 9, so he's a -3. So now we're getting to the point where a -3 might win. Christina, you're out of the running. Thank you so much for calling. Good luck next week. Colin, you are now in the lead with a -3 against Claire for the state capitals. Okay. I don't know if you know this, listeners new to the show. Last year, I talked about it a little bit. I am an intramural ref, which is a thankless job. Reffing in general is a thankless job, and it's kind of tough sometimes. And Thursday was one of those tough times.
Did the lights go out at the football?
Well, the lights, that's always,
I saw
it
that
always
when I
happens.
walked by.
We were getting ready to start the games and the lights go out, but that's not what I'm talking about. In the second game I reffed, we had a little bit of trouble with sportsmanship and people yelling at the refs, which wasn't fun. I'm not gonna name the people, of course, because that would just be, a little stupid. But so we have a new rule in the flag football arena at St. Mary's Intramural Sports, and it is a 3-second quarterback rush, quarterback run rule. So when the quarterback snaps the ball, he then has 3 seconds to sit in the pocket. And then has to he can pass, but he has the ability to run, or the defense can rush. It sounds, simple enough. They didn't like it. The quarterback could not see over the freshman basketball player who was 6'6" with, an 8-foot wingspan. So it made sense, but every time he would rush after 3 seconds, the quarterback couldn't throw it over his head and he would get sacked. So, sensibly, he got a little angry. He got a little bit too angry, if you ask me. But let me know what you think. 507-457-1615. We can't really change the rule. It's kind of like the NFL. We've already played 6 games with the rule, so it'd be against integrity to change it. But 507-457-1615. What do you think about the 3-second quarterback rush pass run rule? What do you think?
In high school, we had a bunch of guys that after Friday, before every football game, it's called FFL, Friday Football League, and we did a 5-second rule. So
5 second, okay.
We thought 5-second was better because I pick up football. I don't know. 3 seconds, so I feel like you guys have like more players on the field. So
it's 6-on-6, so there's 5 receivers, and there's a whistle. I blow a whistle at the end of 3 seconds, and you can rush or you can run. I think it's a fair rule. But 507-457-1615. What do you listeners think? Should we change it? Should we try to change it? Or is it, it's the rule. Play by the rule. 507-457-1615 from St. Mary's University flag football intramural with 6 teams to the college football AP rankings. Let's move on. We got the Alabama Crimson Tide over there up at the top, of course. But Notre Dame just beat Stanford, that was a 8th-ranked team and a 7th-ranked team. Notre Dame might march its way into the top 5. Ohio State fended off Penn State last night. I watched both of those games. That running back for Notre Dame was ridiculous.
He's really good. And
Some
the quarterback played good too.
Quarterback had 350 all-purpose yards, 4 touchdowns. Running back had 170 yards and a couple touchdowns. It was a fun game to watch for sure. And we were sitting in the hotel room with me and my dad and I watching the game. It was close in the second half until it wasn't. They were only up by a touchdown, and then the next thing you know, there's a sack, an interception, and 2 touchdowns more. So they ended up winning 38-17, I think.
Yeah.
21 points.
Yeah, 21.
38-17. That was good recollection. That was good recall. I remember the score.
Look at Notre Dame's schedule. They don't have a top 25 opponent.
Nope. And they've already beaten 3. So
and they won't have a conference championship. Wow.
Yeah. If they went out, I was saying to my dad, if they went out, I don't know if they can make the playoffs.
Oh, they'll make it.
I don't know because the schedule isn't strong enough. They don't have a conference championship. He just said the money's too big in Notre Dame for college football. They have too many fans and just too much money. They have too much pull. But
I think if you're undefeated, unless you're not UCF or something like that, you're in because
UCF, by the way,
look at all these teams that's going to fall.
UCF is 13th in the nation. They're 4-0. They just won again. What happens if they win? What happens if they win out this year? That's 2 years in a row that they go undefeated. You cannot tell me that they are not one of the best teams in college football.
That's their fault though for not scheduling the games. That's my take. If you want to get there,
if you beat the teams in front of you, I mean, you are one of the best teams.
Who are they facing though? That's the thing.
I don't really
they're facing bad teams. Like
okay, well, throw them in the playoff. Throw them in the playoff. What happens? What if they ended up beating Georgia?
I think they should have had a shot last year.
Yeah,
I agree with you, but I do agree with the committee though too.
I guess I don't. If they're the only undefeated team, which they were last year, they were the only undefeated team in college football.
That's why. If there's
if there was 4 undefeated teams
no
and a 1-loss Alabama, then I would say probably UCF would fall. But they were the only undefeated team in college football last year. The fact that they didn't make it is ridiculous.
Yeah, no, Bama was was Bama 4th seed last year? I think Bama was the 4th seed.
I couldn't tell you,
but Bama was like one of the last teams.
Yeah, because they had
the thing,
they had 1 loss in Ohio State.
You can't put UCF over Bama, which is a very tough thing.
I don't know. I hope that UCF has an undefeated season again this year, and they have to force the hand of the committee because it's either give it and make it an 8-team playoff and have every conference winner make the playoff.
Like
that would be okay. That'd be a little too much football for my liking. For the players' sake, for us, it would be great to watch. But make it if UCF can go 2 years in a row without losing a game and not even get a chance at the dance, you have to change something.
Yeah.
You have to expand that playoff to more teams. I don't want a college basketball 64 team, championship, but make it the 8 top conferences, vote on it at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Whoever wins those 8 top conferences from each, one team from each conference makes it to the playoff.
No, I agree. That's a good one. Clemson, I'm a big Clemson fan. I don't know if you knew that, but did you hear about that kind of situation?
Yeah, so you tell it, you're the fan.
Well, they had a quarterback last year that brought them all the way to the semifinals, Kelly Bryant, and I was a senior, but they just had the top recruit from last year's class, Trevor Lawrence, come in for quarterback, and Lawrence has been playing better, like, easily. So they named him the starter, and Bryant, after his record's like 19-2 with him, he decided to transfer.
Yep.
But then yesterday, Trevor Lawrence is hurt, and he could be out for the season. So now Clemson is stuck in a predicament. They have their 3rd-string quarterback now starting.
And there was another thing that I was talking about last night. What is your opinion on the new transfer rule?
I like it because now he gets the transfer to another school instead of another year.
It's his opportunity. It's an opportunity. And the argument is it's going to make it free agency for college athletes. But I look at it this way. Let's say I'm Nick Saban, and I just signed the 2nd best high school quarterback in the nation. And then I signed the 1st best quarterback in the nation.
They should be allowed to transfer.
But I had promised the 2nd best guy the starting job. I said, you're going to be my quarterback. So he signs. But then I do the same thing with the next guy. That it seems a little slimy to me. Give these guys an opportunity to make their life what it should be. if you're a NFL caliber talent out of high school, and then you waste away as a third string quarterback at Ohio State because there's two guys ahead of you, you might have just lost yourself millions of dollars, fame, fortune, and an NFL career. Give these guys the opportunity to go where it benefits them the most.
If you're a college football watcher too, you want to see
You want to see the best players.
Georgia's backup quarterback was the number 2 ranked guy in the whole class coming into this year.
Yeah.
He's on the field a little bit, but you want to see him start somewhere. He could start anywhere besides maybe 5-10 schools.
Yeah, I mean, look at the Tua Tagovailoa and
Jalen
Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has not transferred. If I was Jalen Hurts, I'd get the heck out of there.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
I'm not sure if they played 4 games. Yeah,
They have played 4.
He could.
Yeah, I don't think he can anymore. I think he's stuck.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess if you're on an Alabama team, I don't know if Jalen Hurts is an NFL caliber quarterback at this
Not
point.
at all.
So wins the national championships, even if you're not playing.
Yeah.
That's kind of nice.
I don't know why Tua then just looking at Tua now. How did he not start?
I don't know.
That's what I don't get.
Tua might be the
He's
number 1
unbelievable.
overall
Oh
pick
my god.
this season. So Texas is a big team that has surprised me. They had that early loss. It was the
Maryland.
first week to Maryland. That was ugly. But since they've won 4 straight, they're 18th in the nation. They've beaten a ranked TCU. They've beaten a couple other
They
ranked
beat
teams.
Kansas State this week. Who is a decent team?
Kansas State was a decent team. If Texas can go win out, they had a good schedule and they had 1 bad loss, but they're in a pretty tough conference, Big 12. Oklahoma, if they beat Oklahoma coming up this
college
season,
game this week.
yeah,
That's gonna be a big game.
if they can take down Oklahoma, Texas is going to rocket
I think
itself
Oklahoma's
in the
gonna
top 5.
kill them.
Yeah,
I think Oklahoma's besides Bama the best team in the
Best team.
country. That's
Yep.
And then Georgia and then Clemson. That's
Okay.
my take.
Notre Dame's up there for me.
Yeah. I have 6 right now.
I don't
Ohio
know-
State 5, Notre Dame 6.
I don't know if you watched it. It looked like there were 4 Khalil Macks on the defensive line for Notre Dame.
Notre Dame lost a lot of linemen last year. Offensive, but
Offensive
defensive,
linemen.
they lost. a
So
couple, too.
they had a cool stat on the ESPN broadcast or on the NBC broadcast last night. Stanford through 4 weeks had given up 5 sacks. Last night, Stanford gave up 5
That's
sacks.
crazy.
And one guy, I forgot his name, of course, he had 4 of those sacks. So NFL caliber talent on the defensive line, a really good running back, a really good quarterback, and a pretty good coach. Brian Kelly has been the coach at Notre Dame since
I don't know what to think about it. It's so
he's been there forever. I don't understand it. But he's brought him to a national championship. Can I actually tell you about when they made it to the national championship against Alabama?
well, that Manti Te'o.
God, Manti Te'o. So I am a big Notre Dame fan. My grandpa played at Notre Dame in the 50s. He won a
didn't know
national
that.
championship. Yeah, with Johnny Latner, who won the Heisman. He was a great guy, and that's why I'm a Notre Dame fan, big Notre Dame fan. So when they made it to the national championship, I was psyched. And everyone else in my class wasn't psyched because they hated Notre Dame. This was in 8th grade. So I made a bet with one of my friends who had very hairy legs. The bet was he had to shave his legs if Notre Dame won, and I had to shave my beautiful locks, my head of hair, if Notre Dame lost. And Notre Dame got destroyed, and I lived the rest of my 8th grade year with a buzz cut. I went to a track meet after my dad had buzzed it, and they thought I was sick.
That sounds brutal.
Yeah, it wasn't fun. But I'm still a Notre Dame fan through and through, and if they make it to the national championship again, I might shave my hair if they lose it. Just for
We
the
can play
fun of
some
it.
better
We can
soccer.
place a bet. Perfect if Notre Dame makes it. So Duke just lost. Mississippi State just
There's
lost.
a lot of
They're going
teams
to
that
fall
lost.
out of that. Cal just lost. So there's going to be a lot of shakeup in the top 25 this week. Penn State just lost to Ohio State in a very close game. They were 9th this week. Where do you think they fall?
Penn State. If I'm looking at the rankings, I said
They can't fall
they
too
probably
far.
only go to like 15.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I was telling you earlier, I'm going to the Wisconsin at Penn State game. Those 2 teams, both have 1 loss.
Yeah.
And those are the two teams. If they win out,
Yeah.
they probably will still get a
Mhm.
chance.
Yeah, maybe.
So you never know.
The problem is Ohio State is also in the Big Ten.
That's the thing.
So
They're
Michigan just
clear favorite.
Michigan just squeaked past a brutally bad Northwestern team. So that says say what you want about Michigan, but they don't look too
I
good
don't
this
like-
season.
They're so over.
They already lost to Notre Dame, but I don't know. College football is one of my favorite sports. It's super fun to watch. Saturday, I'd almost argue Saturday is better than Sunday sometimes.
It's close. Yeah.
It's very close. I said first day of sports management class, he asked the class, what sport has the domination of a day? And I'm like, football. They have Saturday and Sunday. And he's like, no, it's Sunday. But I think it dominates Saturday, too.
There's just so many games.
So many games from 11 o'clock until 3 in the morning because you have the Pac-12 action.
Yeah, Oregon was on like at 1 a.m.
Oregon, the Beavers. No, I'm just kidding. They're the Ducks. So
any prediction? Give me a top 2 prediction. National championship college football.
So who's going to be in the championship game?
Who's going to win it right now?
Let's go with.
It's tough.
I'm gonna say Oklahoma.
Win it all.
I think Oklahoma's gonna win it all.
Okay.
I mean, it might be just me willing it into reality because I don't want Georgia, I don't want Clemson, and I don't want Alabama to win another national championship. Yeah. It's getting annoying at this point. So
over Alabama, you got them winning.
Let's go over Notre Dame. It's going to be Oklahoma over Notre Dame.
Okay. If Clemson's quarterback's healthy, I have Clemson over Alabama. If he's not,
shocker.
I have Alabama over Ohio State. That's mine.
Again, very out on a limb picks there from our producer,
Have
Alec.
you seen Alabama?
I have seen Alabama. They just won by 50 points.
They were 49-0 at halftime.
But okay, let's have this conversation. I love having this conversation because it's a very big trick for some people, and I hope I get you into the trap. Would Alabama beat the worst NFL team?
I've thought of that. I don't think
no.
so.
The answer is no. Just think about it.
Alabama. We're thinking if they put a college football all-star team together, would they beat?
I don't even think so.
I don't know. I don't think they're ready.
They are 19 and 20-year-old boys. Yeah. I mean, they're big boys, 300-pound boys. But NFL players are men. Yeah. They have man strength. They're professional athletes that they eat, sleep, and dream football. There's a big difference. There's a big gap between. Just look at Khalil Mack. We just talked about it. One of the premier players in the NFL. His first season, 4 sacks. You know why? Because he came out of a small college football school and he had to grow. He had to grow into his body. He had to grow into his ability. NFL players are so far beyond college football athletes. You could give me the best college football team of all time, and I don't think they beat the worst NFL team.
Just the way the Browns looked last year made me think about it.
Maybe, but still, I mean, it's just they're grown men. I love the conversation because it's great when you get somebody who says, I think Alabama might win because they're just wrong. I wish it could happen. It can't, but they're just wrong.
Hey, we should try to set it up.
Yeah, let's go for it. Let's go St. Thomas against the Chicago Bears.
Oh my God.
How about did you see that MyHack stat? The St. John's Johnny's quarterback is the second or best quarterback efficiency rating in all of college football.
He lives in the city right next to me, Rosemount, and he was at Penn State actually. They recruited him.
Really?
He went there on a walk-on, but
Penn
State. It's Penn State.
Penn State, yeah.
He wanted to play, so then he went to St. John's.
St. John's.
He's just been.
That happens a lot in the MyHack.
Yeah, he in high school, he was in the state quarterfinal. Tore his ACL.
Ooh.
Played the whole game with a torn ACL.
Wow.
They lost in the last drive.
That's crazy.
And he threw 3 touchdowns with a torn ACL. Yeah.
Was he as high as Aaron Rodgers was in the postgame?
They lost, so I don't know. But his dad was the head coach for his high school team. But that's something that's hard right there.
Okay, 507-457-1615. We went on the last 16-second squeeze. We had Colin with -3, Christina with -7. It's looking pretty good for the third caller if you want to win a squeeze t-shirt. 507-457-1615 for the next call for the 16-second squeeze. 507-457-1615. We're going to take it to break here on the squeeze. You are listening to the squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi, produced by Alec Rude on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR. KSMR, Real College Radio. There it was. That was the first time. The first time I forgot to unmute the live stream. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi, produced by Alec Root on KSMO Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and K232CZ 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR. KSMR, Real College Radio. Sadly, we had no fish biting for the 16-second squeeze. So we'll just wait until the next break. Don't forget, we still have one more chance to win a t-shirt. 507-457-1615. Going into the next break, I'll let you know when to call if you want to participate on the 16-second squeeze. It's looking good. Everyone listening who wants to win a t-shirt, this might be your best chance to do it. Okay, we talked about St. Mary's sports last week. Let's talk about St. Mary's sports upcoming. The men's soccer team takes on UW Superior later after the show. It's a Wisconsin school out of the Upper Midwest Athletic Conference. They used to be in the WIAC, but moved to the UMAC, which is a remarkably worse conference. It's one of the worst conferences in the United States. They are 8-2-1 in 11 games so far, quality record, while going 4-0-1 in conference. In matchups with St. Thomas and Augsburg, they're 1-1. Remember, St. Thomas and Augsburg, two very tough opponents. They fell to the Tommies 2-0 and beat Augsburg 4-1. The game starts 2 hours after the squeeze ends, so don't forget to tune in. What's the link?
I think you just go right on the St. Mary's webpage, and then it should.
Okay.
Or you can go to the Superior one, and I feel
There we go.
There should be a live stream on there.
Okay, so just look up a St. Mary's soccer live stream if you want to watch them in action. So Superior is in the UMAC. It's not a very good conference. They, however, are a very good team. They're the best school in that conference by far, transferring from the WIAC, a quality conference, into the UMAC, not a very good conference.
They also beat Bethel 3-0 and Concordia 2-1. So against
Okay,
the
a lot of
MIAC,
head-to-head.
3-1.
There you go. So if they were in the MIAC, things would be looking good for
really
them. And they lost to St. Thomas 2-0, which is exactly how much we lost to them, 2-0, and then they beat Augsburg 4-1, which is impressive. I don't even know how they did that. This is going to be a tough game, but this team has shown grit. This team has shown the ability to bounce back after rough losses, and now they're finally coming off a very good win.
Yeah, long bus rides. It's going to be like a 4-hour bus ride. So
Yep.
we'll see. Maybe the bus ride could help, maybe not.
Yeah,
So,
I believe they left at 10 o'clock. I asked
Yeah,
Josh
they did,
yesterday.
yeah.
They left at 10 o'clock, so it's 11 o'clock. Hopefully they get there safe and sound, and then they can take on the UW Superior. What's their name?
what is it?
The Wasps, the Hornets?
The Yellow Jackets.
The Yellow Jackets. There you go. Women's soccer. St. Thomas makes its way down to Winona this Wednesday. They are 8-1 this season and 4-0 in the MIAC. Their one loss came against Wheaton from Illinois in the first game of the season. The Tommies are currently ranked 17th in the nation, while the one team they lost to is ranked 22nd in the nation. The Tommies are a very, very good team. 17th in the nation. They've only lost to one school, and that school is also a top 25 school. If you ask me, this is going to be a tough game.
St. Thomas has won 8 games. They've given up 2 goals in those 8 games.
Wow.
6 shutouts on the other ones. So not looking too.
No, but we will be out there. You
I'll be
will be
announcing.
play-by-playing, and I will be taking notes and getting some good stuff on the
Upset.
squeeze. Upset. Let's upset of the century. Let's,
UMBC did it.
Oh, who? UMBC?
To Virginia.
Oh, I thought you meant the new MIAC school. Like, who's this new MIAC school? UMBC? What are we talking about here? Volleyball. The Cardinals take on the Blue Devils from UW Stout, who are 8-8. The Cardinals are also 8-8. Hopefully the Cardinals can turn their season around after 2 sweep losses to the Cobbers of Concordia and the Bennies from St. Ben's. Both the Cobbers and the Ben's are very good MIAC schools. UW Stout is not a very good WIAC school.
8-8 overall.
8-8 overall, as so are the Cardinals. Hopefully they can turn their season around. We already talked about it a little bit earlier. They've had a disappointing season, to say the least. I don't really know what else to say. I don't know
They're
too
fun
much
to
about
watch,
it.
though.
They are fun to watch.
Yeah,
I haven't made it to a game yet this year.
Volleyball's one of my favorite to watch. I think it's watching Brandy especially. They compete, but they just haven't pulled out later in the sets, I feel.
I could imagine. So, okay, here we go. This is everybody's favorite segment. This is our NFL picks segment between myself, our producer Alec, and Claire and Teresa. Here we go. We're going to replay what they said, what they picked last week. Giants versus Texans.
I'm a big Texas person, so let's go Texas. Okay, I'm fine with that.
Texans.
Okay, yeah, Texas.
Sorry.
That works.
Texans. I just wanted to make sure.
It's the same place.
Okay. 49ers versus Chiefs.
Weren't we just talking about the 49ers the other day?
I just don't like them because it's a number.
Okay, yeah, let's go with the Chiefs then.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, because they're the only team with a number.
Yeah, that's so dumb.
Raiders versus Dolphins.
Oh, Dolphins.
Dolphins.
It's an animal.
Save the planet. Save the turtles. Dolphins.
Colts versus Eagles.
Colts. I don't know why, but
Why
that's
not the
why.
Eagles?
I don't know.
We're from Minnesota, Claire. Eagles.
I don't think those two things correlate.
It's a good point, actually. Okay, so Colts.
Yes,
Okay, fine.
Colts.
Colts.
Bengals versus Panthers.
Didn't one of those win the Super Bowl a couple years ago?
Do not ask me about the Super Bowl. Last time we did this, I got it very wrong. So
I
did
think-
you.
Let's just go with the Panthers because I think it's a Jungle Book character. So Panthers.
Also, they're kind of cool.
Yeah,
And expensive cars. No, that's a
Jaguar.
There we go. You know, same thing. Same animal.
Bears versus Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Yeah, roll cards.
Go us.
That one kind of hurts. Okay, Patriots versus Lions.
Patriots because Tom Brady.
Sure.
That one. And Steelers versus Buccaneers.
I don't like the Steelers.
So I
don't
guess
know
the
why.
Buccaneers, but they sound kind of cheesy. But that'll work.
You heard it here first, folks. The Buccaneers sound kind of cheesy. Well, if you remember listening last weekend, the combination of Claire and Teresa went 6-2 in college football their first week, but the magic the Fitz magic has departed. They went 3-5 this week with those picks, or last week. Alec went 4-4, and your king so far after 1 week is me. I went 5-5. Here, let's hear from Claire and Teresa on their picks for this week. Eagles versus Titans.
Titans kind of sound cool.
Yeah, the Eagles are mean, so let's go with the Titans.
And apparently we never pick the Eagles. So, bye.
Bills versus Packers.
Packers. I'm actually a Packers fan.
You know.
Yeah, the Packers.
Claire.
Yep.
I can't. Okay.
The Packers.
Lions versus Cowboys.
Howdy. Yeehaw.
That makes me not want to pick them because you said that. What was the team?
Yeah, wait, I forgot.
Lions versus Cowboys.
Have we picked the Lions yet?
No. Let's do the
They won their
Lions.
last game, right?
They did.
Oh,
Okay, so
oh,
we
the-
we totally paid attention.
Yeah.
I love this for us.
Lions.
Buccaneers versus the Bears.
Oh, did the Buccaneers win when we picked them? Last
Yes? No.
week? No, they didn't win.
Okay.
Let's just pick the Bears because they won last week.
All right, and I guess,
Chicago.
Chicago.
Yeah.
Anthony.
The Bears.
All right.
Browns versus Raiders.
I don't know these
Either
teams.
of them. The
What's
Raiders
a
are kind
what's
of
a
weird.
what is a raider?
and mean.
It's like a pirate.
Yeah. That's
Oh,
too mean.
gross.
Yeah.
No.
What's the other team? That one.
Browns.
Browns.
Okay.
Okay, the Browns.
I love a good color.
Ravens versus Steelers.
Didn't the Steelers win the Super Bowl like about 10 years ago?
We should stop talking about Super Bowls because we always get it
I
wrong.
know.
Wait,
Yeah.
can you repeat that again?
Ravens versus Steelers.
Oh, the
How about
Ravens.
Ravens?
Yeah, that's an animal.
Yeah.
Ravens.
Dolphins against the Patriots.
Dolphins!
And Chiefs against the Broncos.
I don't really like the Broncos just because a Bronco. Really?
I think that the Chiefs won against. The Chiefs played the 49ers last week, so let's go with the Chiefs.
Okay, I just really don't like Broncos because that sounds dumb.
We've decided on the Chiefs.
The Broncos.
I love how they say Eagles. We never picked them, and they won the Super Bowl last year.
Or how about the Dolphins? When they did that in my phone, I thought my microphone was going to pop. They just screamed Dolphins. So they picked the Titans over the Eagles, the Packers over the Bills, the Lions over the Cowboys, the Bears over the Buccaneers, the Browns over the Raiders. Love a good color. The Ravens over the Steelers, the Dolphins over the Patriots, and the Chiefs over the Broncos. Alec, it's your turn. Who do you got this week?
First off, I had the Eagles over the Titans because I think Carson Wentz is going to bounce back and have a good game. Packers versus the Bills, because the Bills had one good week. They want to have another good one, I feel.
Oh, pretty good week.
Yeah, very good week. I also have then where am I? Cowboys against the Lions. I think Cowboys are going to rebound. Bears versus Buccaneers. Go Bears. Pittsburgh over the Ravens. I think that would go either way, but Pittsburgh is home, so I'm going to take Pittsburgh. I had the Browns over the Raiders. Baker Mayfield, I love him. Patriots versus Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are an overrated 3-0 team. They faced a lot of easy teams. And then Chiefs versus Broncos, because I think the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL right now.
Okay, some good stuff. We do actually have some divergence this week. We were kind of picking the same stuff last year and last week, but I picked some different teams from Alec and from Claire and Teresa. I have the Eagles over the Titans for the same reason. Eagles they haven't played like it, but they are, in my opinion, one of the best teams in the NFC. Carson Wentz is a dude, and he hopefully will have an MVP season just like he did last year before it was derailed by that ACL injury. I have the Packers over the Bills. I don't think the Packers can lose 2 weeks in a row, and I don't think the Bills can win 2 weeks in a row. And it's in Green Bay, so the Packers are going to take down the Buffalo Bills. I have the Cowboys over the Lions. If there was one game that Matt Patricia was going to win, you would hope it would be against his former team. That's what happened. He beat the Patriots. The Lions are a sorry team. I think the Patriots are a sorry team as well. So I have the Cowboys over the Lions. Bears over the Buccaneers. It's going to be a quarterback controversy. Fitzmagic is going to run out. It is going to run out. We saw signs of it last week. He threw 3 picks in the first half, but then ended up throwing for 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. So you've seen the Fitzmagic go away a bit. It's going to go away totally this week.
I don't know.
I think it is, because
I think the Bears are still going to win, but
the Bears are going to win, and what's going to happen is Fitzpatrick is not going to do well, so they're going to bring in, I'm blanking on his name, Jameis Winston off of his 4-game suspension.
Bad Jameis.
And Jameis it's going to be his first game. So the Bears are too good of a team to lose to this team at home.
Yeah, Buccaneers don't have a running game either, so yeah, that's all they have to do.
Browns against the Raiders. I picked the Raiders over the Browns. Rationale being Baker Mayfield opened up with a lot of hype and came in for the second half of that game. Tyrod Taylor got hurt. This is his second game, so this is his sophomore slump game. I think he's going to fall off a little bit of a cliff.
I think Baker's going to become one of the top quarterbacks.
He could, but this game, I don't think this game he's gonna do well. I have the Ravens over the Steelers. Earlier in the week, I was leaning towards Steelers because I didn't think that they could lose 3 of their first 4 games to start the season. They're just too good of a franchise, but it's fallen off the rails. Ben has gotten old quickly. Le'Veon Bell is still holding out. Antonio Brown is a head case. Yeah. I don't have any faith in the Steelers to win a game over the Ravens, who are actually pretty good this year. Who knew? You put Lamar Jackson, line him up as a wide receiver, and teams just don't know what to do. Dolphins against the Patriots. You say that the Dolphins are a fake good team. I think the Dolphins are real. Ryan Tannehill looks pretty good. Kenny Stills looks awesome. And that defense, that secondary is pretty good as well. The Patriots, this is it. This is it for the Patriots. Mark my words, it is November 30th of 2018. The New England Patriots will not go to the playoffs again with Tom Brady. He's done. He's done. He's 41 years old, which is not old. If Angela is listening again, Teresa's mother said that I called Tom Brady old, but he really isn't. So I'm sorry if I offended all the 41-year-olds out there. He's old for a football player. I have to put that caveat in there. He's old for a football player at 41. And then finally, shockingly, I have the Chiefs over the Broncos. Chiefs,
Patrick Mahomes is unbelievable.
He's on pace for 3,000 touchdowns, I think, this season. He has 13 in 4 games.
That's crazy.
It's remarkable. And that offense is, 13 through 3 games. That offense is just, it's humming, it's puffing, it's you can't stop it. And that's what, as a Bears fan, that's what you look at as the template. You want that to be the Bears later this season, hopefully, and more consistently next season. You want Tyreek Hill, you want Tariq Cohen to be the new Tyreek Hill. You want, Trey Burton to be the next Travis Kelce. I'm blanking on names. I don't know, though. You don't know, because this team they haven't found their rhythm yet. They're in a new system. They're with new coaches. They have a bunch of new players. Allen Robinson is a beast. Trey Burton could be a beast. Taylor Gabriel is one of the fastest guys in the NFL. I'm going to keep talking about it. My one problem is Mitch Trubisky is not Patrick Mahomes.
Jordan Howard too. I don't know if I'm sold on Jordan Howard yet either.
I think he's close to an elite back at this point. I don't know. He's getting old, but I think he's close to an elite back at this point. Patrick Mahomes, Mitchell Trubisky, Deshaun Watson. That is the draft from 2 years ago. That draft will go down in history in Chicago because we passed up possibly on Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. We took Mitchell Trubisky with the second pick. He's our franchise quarterback. Love it, hate it. That's what we're stuck with. If he's not good, Bears might be in trouble. Of course, now they have a elite defense. So we've seen last year in the NFC, both teams in the NFC had elite defenses and not a good quarterback.
No.
Case Keenum and Nick Foles are not exactly elite quarterbacks. Their defense carried them. You draft Mitchell Trubisky with the thought that he's going to be your elite quarterback for years to come. And right now, through 3 games for Patrick Mahomes and 14 games for Mitchell Trubisky, it's not looking good.
I just think the Bears are too scared to take like a runner like Watson or Mahomes. And Trubisky is like more like the NFL style quarterback. Like he looks more like Rodgers or Brady or Breeze, but I don't think he's there.
But the problem is you don't know. When you draft a quarterback, you can draft the NFL ready athlete.
Yeah.
Or you can draft the high ceiling guy with a really good accuracy. And that's what the Bears did. You can't look at this draft class right now. Look back at the 2002, 2003 draft class. Phillip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Eli Manning. From the start, it looked like Eli was the best or Ben was the best. And every year, you had to change the conversation because it evolved. And Eli is probably the worst of the 3 at this point.
Oh,
by far, at least as a quarterback talent, but he's won 2 MVPs in the Super Bowl. Ben Roethlisberger has 2 rings. Arguably, I think he's been the best of the 3. And then Phillip Rivers has never really even been to the playoffs too often.
I think
he's probably the best quarterback of the 3. He's at throwing the ball, Aaron Rodgers, at literally being a quarterback. He's arguably the best of that draft class. And that's just the conversation that we're going to have with Trubisky, Watson, and Mahomes for the next 15 years. We can't seal it right now, deciding on which quarterback is the best. You can say Patrick Mahomes currently is playing the best, but Mitchell Trubisky could win 3 MVPs, and you don't know it yet. You have to wait to develop the argument.
Yeah, it depends on what the Bears want, too. So if they – like right now, they're probably just a little bit shy away. But, yeah, like you said, 5 years or so, you never know.
So the Vikings at quarterback, Kirk Cousins.
I love him.
It's an upgrade for sure. That's all you needed. All you needed was an upgrade for that defense, which has not been playing too well this season. Vikings have lost 2 games already. They're in second place in the North. They're 1-2-1.
Yep.
What's going on?
The defense, not as good as they should be. And also Dalvin Cook, I feel like just not – the offensive line is just absolutely terrible. I think Cousins and then Thielen, Diggs, and Rudolph are all magnificent, but then the offensive line is awful. Like when we face the Bears, I think we'll split with the Bears.
Could be in trouble. Yeah. I mean, last year when I picked the Bears for 10 games, I said they were going to lose 2 to the Vikings. That's looking pretty good. I think they're going to win 1. I said it earlier in the show. I don't think a team can walk in Soldier Field this season and beat the Bears.
It depends. Who do they play? Do you know who they play?
I don't, but that defense at home, how are you going to beat that? Against home field advantage while also playing against the team that has 14 sacks through 3 games, no one's going to beat them.
Yeah, it depends how the offense plays for the Bears. That's what I would say.
If Mitchell Trubisky can stray away from throwing interceptions and fumbling the ball, he doesn't have to win them games. At this point, right now in his development, he doesn't need to win them games. In the future, hopefully he does, because that's, of course, what you want when you draft a quarterback 2nd overall. But all you need is him. I don't want to say game manager, but all you need is him to not turn the ball over, and the Bears can make the playoffs this season.
Home games: Patriots, Rams, Vikings, Packers. Still.
Okay, so I just said the Patriots are not who we thought they were.
They could get back.
They're done. They're aging. They're not even aging at this point. They're old. I mean, Rob Gronkowski threatens retirement after every game. Tom Brady is brittle as all get out, and he's just not. Did you see a couple of the passes that he threw this past Sunday? He is a shell.
I
of
believe it's
himself.
just a bad start. I think the Patriots are going to come back, win that division. I think they're going to get to the AFC Championship and lose. That's my prediction.
He's a shell of himself. I'm telling you, they're not making the playoffs again with Brady. Then the Rams. Okay, you got me there. I didn't, I may have forgotten that the best offense in the NFC is coming to Soldier Field.
And the Vikings or Packers, I feel like one of them could.
Maybe
Rodgers.
Maybe. Anything could happen. Technically, it's a division. It's a divisional football game in the NFL. Anything can happen. But you know what? Stick with it right now. Another prediction: Bears will go undefeated this season at home. They're bold predictions. They're bold predictions, and they may be a little bit unfounded, but they're possible.
They lose three or four at home.
You're going to say they lose? Okay, no.
That's fine.
I think they go 8-0 at home this season.
Okay.
Whatever. Just my prediction here. 507-457-1615. Call in if you want to win a t-shirt. We're getting down to the end. It's already 11:30. Colin might win by default if we don't get a third contestant. 507-457-1615. If you want to call for a 16-second squeeze, 507-457-1615. We are going to send it to break here on the squeeze. You are listening to the squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi, produced by KSMR. Oh my God, I said it again. Produced by Alec Rude on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR. KSMR Real College Radio. 507-457-1615. If you want to win a t-shirt here on the squeeze. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi, produced by Alec Rude on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live on 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR, KSMR Real College Radio. We do have a 16-second squeeze caller here. This is Lisa from Winona. Say hi, Lisa from Winona.
Hi.
Hi. Okay, are you ready for the 16-second squeeze and your chance to win a Squeeze t-shirt?
I'm ready.
Okay, so you don't have a choice anymore. You are going to face off against Teresa from Claire. Teresa.
All right.
Teresa had 16 seconds to name as many Disney movies as she could. Disney movies in 3, 2, 1.
Cinderella, The Jungle Book, Snow White, Under the Sea, The Little Mermaid, The 101 Dalmatians.
Okay,
Which mountain?
That's it. That was the buzzer beater. Thank you, Lisa, for calling. How many did she get?
I had 6.
She got 6. Okay, let's listen to what Teresa had for Disney movies. Ooh. Okay, Teresa had 16 seconds to name as many Disney movies as she could. Here we go.
Toy Story, Finding Nemo, Finding Dory, princess movies. So Rapunzel, Cinderella, Tangled. No, I already said that one.
Oh, I guess, yeah, Rapunzel and Cinderella are the same one. So I believe she got 6. So Lisa and Teresa are tied for 6, meaning that Lisa wins the t-shirt. Lisa from Winona, thank you for participating. Good luck next week. Colin and Christina. Colin at -3 and Christina at -7. And 2 weeks in a row now that we have the t-shirt winner who didn't go positive at a clean 0. Nice job, Lisa from Winona. I will call you after the show to get you your t-shirt. And call in next week if you want to win a t-shirt here on The Squeeze. 16-second squeeze, 507-457-1615 is the phone number. We haven't taken a single call today. Let us know if you have a sports opinion. I want to hear from you. Have we said anything that you feel is incorrect or incoherent? And we'll let you know, and we can have a nice sports debate about it. We are going to talk about Addison Russell coming up shortly. If you have an opinion on that, I want to hear it. I want to participate with the audience. I want the audience to participate with the show. That's how you grow a good sports radio show. 507-457-1615. Okay, so Addison Russell was the shortstop for the Chicago Cubs. He's been in the league for 3 seasons. At one point, highly touted prospect from the Athletics. At one point, everyone in Chicago was saying that he was the next MVP of the Chicago Cubs. Since he has, let's just say, fallen from grace. Last season, a Instagram account owned by the girlfriend of his ex-wife, was shelling out some claims that he may be abusing his ex-wife when they were married. He does have a kid with her. It was investigated by the MLB, and no further action was taken as there was not enough proof to suspend him. Well, 2 weeks ago, Melissa Reedy, Addison Russell's ex-wife, posted a harrowing blog post on a blog post website detailing the constant mental and physical abuse put onto her by Addison Russell. Addison Russell has since denied all claims, but he was placed on administrative leave from the MLB. He's been on administrative leave for 10 days now, and I was happy to see Cubs Twitter, not the Cubs on Twitter, but Cubs fans Twitter, as a community come together and take the side of Melissa Reedy. It was nice to see for once the public come to the rescue of a victim instead of the athlete who victimized the person. But what was sick about it in my own head is I wanted to see what would happen if maybe it was flipped. Addison Russell this season is batting .213. Addison Russell this season has 40 RBIs and 6 home runs. Addison Russell this season has not been good. let's just hypothetically say that instead of Addison Russell, this was Javi Baez, or this was Chris Bryant. As sick as it sounds, I don't think the Cubs community would have come to the rescue or taken a side of the abusee. And I don't know what that says about the place that we're living in today, but just think about that out there. What do you think would have happened if maybe this was a higher profile player, a player who, if the Cubs lost in this last season or in this last week of the season, it would be over undoubtedly. If they lost Javier Baez for this reason, Cubs Twitter would be having a fit right now.
Something that kind of thinks with me is like Patrick Kane. This is totally different, obviously, but he was accused of doing something, and Patrick Kane was in the best part of his career, and they just acted like it wasn't like an actual, like, luckily it wasn't an actual thing, but
Mm-hmm.
But the best player feels like you just forget about it at times. Like Ray Rice, like obviously they found out, but I feel like during that situation they tried to hide it like too much. I feel
Mm-hmm. And nothing happened until the video came out.
Yeah, so I feel like they don't investigate him. If they're making the money, they don't even care. LaShawn McCoy, there's talk that he even did something too. So
yeah, and
never know.
the worst thing you can say to a victim of domestic abuse and domestic violence is that you don't believe them, or that you have to investigate in their claims, because it takes a lot for a victim like that to come out. And I would advise everyone listening, if you haven't read it already, read the blog post and tell me that it's not true. It's too real to not be true. And it was good to see people not attack her and take the side of her, instead attacking Addison Russell, calling him a terrible person, which he might not be a terrible person, but he did a terrible thing for a long period of time. And I've been very staunch in my offense towards athletes in domestic violence situations. We talked about it last year with Miguel Sano.
Yeah.
You're a Twins fan, so it hit home again. I had already had to deal with the Aroldis Chapman thing, and that was tough. Not rooting for Aroldis Chapman, but taking the name off the back of the jersey as best I could and rooting for the Cubs. If Addison Russell comes back, I don't know if I can do the same thing. Aroldis Chapman, I didn't grow up seeing Aroldis Chapman as a Cub.
Yeah.
For the last 3-4 years, I haven't grown up, but I've seen Addison Russell from go. So I don't know if I can take the name away from the jersey as easily with this player.
It's tough to talk about.
It is. It's a tough
all
thing.
these things.
But you need to talk about it, because it's not, domestic violence is not a joke, and it's not something that can be pushed under the rug. So let me know, 507-457-1615. What's your opinion on Addison Russell and how the situation has been handled? The other thing that bugged me a lot, and I'm in a group chat with a couple buddies on Twitter about, we just talk about sports most of the time, mostly Cubs and Bears. I was furious with the way that Joe Maddon handled this situation.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Maddon repeatedly would say, I want all the information possible. And then when asked if he had even read the blog post, he would say no, and would respond with, anyone can write anything on social media and the internet. You cannot possibly handle it worse. And I tweeted out, Joe Maddon has lost the fan base. And he might not have lost the fan base, but he lost me. The fact that it took him a whole week and Theo Epstein, the president of baseball operations, to come down and tell him he has to read it and he has to make a statement, it put a sour taste in my mouth, and I don't know how I feel about Joe Maddon anymore.
Yeah, I feel like being a coach is probably tough, because
It's tough because you don't want to
Mike
say anything
Tomlin
bad.
with the Steelers and all that social media stuff about Bell and Brown, like he's just like, I don't pay attention to social
true,
media.
I guess.
So I can go either side on it. If it's this bad, I feel like he should have addressed.
Just the dichotomy of, I want all of the information possible, but he won't read the blog post. It was a little sour taste, like I said. 507-457-1615. We got heavy there, as we tend to do when we talk about more heavy issues in sports. 507-457-1615. Baseball as a sport
Gonna be fun.
is going nuts. Today we have no seed in the NL has been locked in. All 5 seeds in the playoffs for the NL
There's like
are
8 different
undecided.
scenarios.
It's
That's
crazy. The Cubs and Brewers if the Cubs win and the Brewers lose today, Cubs make the playoffs as the number 1 seed. If the Brewers win and the Cubs lose,
Cubs are 4.
Cubs are the 4 seed in the wild card game. If the Cubs win and the Brewers win, or Cubs lose and the Brewers lose, they will then have a tiebreak game tomorrow. And then the winner of that will go to the division series or go to the wild card game. And it's the same thing for the Dodgers and Rockies. It's the exact same situation, except it's the 2 seed and the 5 seed.
Yeah.
We could possibly have 2 tiebreakers on Monday, a wild card game on Tuesday in the NL, and then a wild card game on Wednesday in the AL. This is exactly what you want from your baseball season.
Only thing would be if they didn't have it all set and they just had like a game today that would matter, which like who makes the playoffs or not. But besides that, this is big.
This is what you want. This is what you want when you make a wild card game.
Yeah.
It builds that drama. And the Cubs and Brewers have the best records in the National League, but one of them is going to be the top seed in the wild card game and might get eliminated in one game. The Cubs and Brewers can each have 93 wins, 94 wins, and still make it out or get out in one game of the playoffs. It was the same thing in 2015, the Cubs' first, taste of the playoffs. They were the 2nd seed in the wild card game with 97 wins. The Cardinals, Pirates, and Cubs had the 3 best records in baseball. But because they're in the same division, the Pirates and Cubs had to duke it out in a one-game playoff. You can't tell me that isn't awesome. I love it. I love the way that baseball playoffs are positioned and how they work.
I think it's fun too on today. It's like there's no night games. It's all like day games and stuff. So
Yeah,
they're like all at the same time.
Cubs
So
play at 2:20.
that's really, really fun.
Brewers play at 2:10, and that's in an effort to keep competitive integrity so that, if the Cubs win at 2:00 today, the Brewers if the Cubs lose at 2:00 today, the Brewers can rest all their players because, they know that the Cubs are out of it and vice versa. So that's why they do that. And I like it a lot. Cubs play at 2:20, Brewers play at 2:10 or something like that. So we'll get out of here and then watch some baseball. It's an exciting day of baseball.
2:10.
The 2:10. Okay. So the other, this is something I love. I don't know. It's hard to quibble with this in my own brain. This is undeniably the best era in Chicago Cubs baseball history. And I feel almost depressed when I watch this team this season. They are a 90. How many? 93.
94.
They've won 94.
Right
they might win 95 games this season. And I feel like they're not even going to make the playoffs. This has been one of the most frustrating years, and they have the best record in the NL. And they've had the best record in the NL since the All-Star break.
Just watching some of their games, I feel like there's like a couple of innings where they just absolutely just look terrible.
Yeah.
Just like awful.
They're-
They're forced to come back.
There
a
will
lot,
be
too.
games. There will be games where they don't score a freaking run, and you're like, you are the best offense in the National League. How are you not doing anything? And that's happened a remarkable amount of times, and I can't take it. But again, this is a team last year in 2017 that made it to the NLCS. That's 3 straight NLCSs. And they've won more games this season than they did last season. And I still feel like this team is going nowhere. And it sucks because they've been at the height. They've been at the pinnacle. They've won the World Series. They've won more games than any team in baseball the last 4 seasons. And I sometimes can't watch them because they just look so gosh darn bad.
Cubs Brewers in the DS, that would be fun.
That would be
That'd
fun.
Really fun.
It's dangerous. I was thinking, what would be my favorite? What would be the best outcome? In my mind, the best outcome would be Cubs win the division. Obviously, they get the 1 seed. Dodgers win their division, so sending the Rockies to the wild card game with the Brewers.
Rockies and Brewers would be fun too.
And then hopefully the Rockies win the wild card game because I said it 3 times yesterday. The Brewers are the team of destiny this year. Every time I've had them on my notifications since the beginning of the season, and every time they go down, Christian Yelich hits a home run or Ryan Braun hits a home run, and they tie it up right away or they take the lead. They're the team of destiny this year. I want the Cubs to win, but if the Cubs don't, it wouldn't surprise me if the Brewers go all the way.
How nuts would it be if the Braves somehow walk out of the NL? That'd be no one's talking about them. I feel.
That's
That'd be
true.
crazy.
Yeah, I
That'd
mean,
be
even the
nuts.
Braves
They're tied with the
are
Dodgers.
tied
and
with the Dodgers and the Rockies for the 2nd or 3rd seed. for home field advantage. So even their postseason isn't locked in yet. They are the winners of the division, but they don't know what they're doing. This is exactly what you want as a baseball fan, because today is the most exciting day of baseball, and there might be another one tomorrow for games 163, possibly having 2 of them.
I think the AL too. The AL is going to be fun. Oh my!
I don't know.
gosh.
So
Yankees, Red Sox, and Houston. It's a 3-team race. I feel A's could, but Indians aren't that good. But if it's Yankees, Red Sox, I feel like that's going to be awesome.
I don't care who makes it into the World Series. An NL team is winning the World Series this year.
I disagree. I have AL. I think Houston. No, I have Red Sox beating Houston in the CS, and I'll say Houston beats Milwaukee
Wow,
in the World Series.
Okay. So I don't care. Like I said, I don't care who it is. The AL and the NL, the AL teams, there have been 5 or 6, maybe 7 teams in the AL who are impeccably bad. You don't have that in the NL.
Yeah.
Even
I
the
agree.
Reds are a quality-ish team. They can beat anybody any given day because their offense is just killer. The NL doesn't have the Marlins, yes. And who else? That's pretty much it. The Marlins and the Padres. They have 2
Dodgers are bad.
terrible teams. The AL, you have 4 in the AL Central alone. The Twins were brutal. The White Sox are terrible.
Detroit, Kansas City.
The Detroit Tigers are
Baltimore is the worst.
absolutely. Baltimore is having one of the worst seasons in the history of baseball. The AL is top heavy, and I think that's why we've been telling ourselves the AL is the more quality side. But the NL is battle tested and close. What if you would,
I just think the Red Sox winning the most ever in their era. I just think that's unbelievable.
Well, how many wins did they get? 109?
They're up there. They have 107 right now.
107. So they could get 108 wins.
108 and 54.
That's a
Even with that's remarkable.
And
With
then-
how many good Red Sox teams they've been in the past years too.
And then the Yankees win 100.
Yeah.
And then the Baltimore Orioles lose 100 and
Houston has 103.
100 and how many?
15.
They've lost 115 games.
46 and 115.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Don't tell me that the AL is better than the NL. Don't tell me.
It's not deeper, but
It,
top.
But
Red
the-
Sox
but
and
the-
Yankees could.
if you're playing the Orioles 16 times
I
a
agree.
year,
I agree.
you're gonna have an inflated record than if you're playing the Pirates are in 4th place in the NL Central and have the best record in the NL Central.
No, that's true.
The NL Central had the Cubs, Brewers, Cardinals, and Pirates almost the entire season going head to head, battling against each other. That's a better division. That's a better league than you have the Yankees and Red Sox beating up on the Orioles all the time,
Tampa Bay is decent, so
I guess.
we're okay. But
NL team is going to win the World Series
I
this
disagree. But
this
we'll
season.
see. We'll see.
507-457-1615. We haven't taken a single call yet today. 507-457-1615. Give me a sports opinion. Give me a sports question or anything in between. 507-457-1615. We're coming down to the end here. It is 11:53 on the squeeze. 507-457-1615. We are going to take it to break. You are listening to The Squeeze with Anthony Pasquazi, produced by Alec Roon on KSMR Radio, broadcasting live at 92.5 FM on campus and 94.3 FM in Winona, Minnesota, as well as online at smumn.edu/KSMR, KSMR Real College Radio. We're winding down to the end here. I have a crazy story on Deadspin that I stumbled upon. It's pretty ridiculous. Oh, never mind. Let's get to that after our first call so far this season on The Squeeze. Hello, thanks for calling The Squeeze. What's your name and where are you from?
Scott from Elmwood Park.
Scott from Elmwood Park, familiar voice here on The Squeeze. Hi. Well, what's up today?
I don't really have a sports comment. Just want to say that I love listening to you guys. You're doing a great job, and it's glad to have you back for another year.
Okay, thank you so much, Scott, for being one of our most loyal listeners.
Always.
Okay, very nice words from Scott from Elmwood Park. Yeah, that was a great guy. Let's get back to the Deadspin article. Van High School in East Texas conducted its annual homecoming bonfire on Thursday night. Normal bonfire, it makes sense. At which members of the football team lit a large fire underneath an effigy wearing the jersey of a player from rival school Brownsboro's football team.
How did they get the jersey?
They just made the jersey.
Oh.
Yeah, they just made the jersey, but they put a big 8 on it. The story is about the race of the football player that they burned at effigy. I don't really want to talk about that because I get the explanation that it's just the best player on the other team. What I don't understand is burning a high school player effigy in the first place. What are you doing, Texas?
Texas football.
I guess Texas football. So that's the story. They just burned a high school athlete effigy. So yeah, Texas football. Happy I don't live in Texas because I don't want to be anywhere near that weird.
I want to go to a Texas high school game, like a big one. I
big
feel like
one,
that'd
maybe.
be sweet.
Actually, one year my high school football team went to Texas to play against the Texas team.
Wow.
I don't remember how they did, but both of them are from the Dominican order. It was like Bishop something.
Yeah.
And they went to Texas. They said it was just crazy. The atmosphere down there is just different. The players are just
I feel
bigger.
like a mini college football atmosphere.
Yeah, it's basically mini college football.
Cool.
507-457-1615. We only have 1 minute left on The Squeeze. I guess we could talk really quick. We had a text conversation last week about Clay Matthews and the roughing the passer rule. I want to point out the roughing the passer rule is ridiculous, but just like the 3-second flag football rule, it is the rule. So it may be ridiculous and you may not like it, but you have to bend to the rules. And Clay Matthews insists on not doing that.
I thought he tried. What I saw, I thought he tried to roll off, and just how him and Smith were connected, I just don't feel like he had an opportunity to roll off. That's what made. I don't know.
This is anecdotal because I'm a Bears fan. I've only watched Bears games really, with a fine-tooth comb. But the Bears have 14 sacks. That's leading the NFL. They don't have one roughing the passer penalty. You know why? Because that's good coaching and that's good, smart play from the players. 2 of Clay Matthews' 3 roughing the passers have been pretty terrible. Like from Clay Matthews, they've been obvious roughing the passer calls. The last one is a little suspect, and that's the rule. That's terrible. Yeah. But when you line up on Mitch Trubisky in the first week and you just spear him in the head after he doesn't have the ball anymore, you put a target on your back because you're playing like an idiot. Clay Matthews, bend to the rules and play how you should.
15 yards too can make a football game. That's what these. I feel like there's been so many games in the NFL this year that these penalties, like Packers, right after that happened, the Redskins just took over.
Yeah, and you hear a lot about it around here because we're in basically Wisconsin, and the Packers have lost a game because of Clay Matthews, almost lost a game because of Clay Matthews in the Bears game, and then tied a game because of Clay Matthews. All 3 of those penalties had a lot to do with why the Packers are not 3-0 right now.
Going to be interesting today. Rookie quarterback he's going to go against, so Ivan Matthews is going to try to get to him fast. So.
Just what you have to do is you have to go for the ball. Don't go for the quarterback. Go for the ball. Khalil Mack's already forced 3 forced fumbles because he's going for the ball. He changed the way he played because he knew that he had to for the benefit of himself and his team because that's the rule.
Should be an exciting day of football.
Thank you for listening to The Squeeze here today. It was pretty good. Thank you to Josh Balsiger. Good luck today in the game. It was great talking with him about some soccer, scouting the UW Superior team, and also talking a little bit more about our own team, which has had a pretty good season so far this year. It sounds like a great group of guys. Thank you to the 3 callers in the 16-second squeeze. Congratulations to Lisa from Winona. You win the squeeze t-shirt. Thank you so much to Claire and Teresa, as always, for giving us those sound recordings. And we'll let you know how they do next week for their picks this week. And thank you so much to Alec for doing all the work that he has done. And thank you for listening today on The Squeeze.
Should be good. Thank you.
Okay.